We purchased our Tesla Model Y long range in December 2023, so we just finished our second year of ownership. That means it's time to recap our second year of ownership costs. I'll put a card above and a link in the description to the video I just made last year of our first year recap. And I'll also link to the playlist of all of the ownership cost videos that I've made of our 2015 Tesla Model S 85D, which we still also own. And I also still make annual videos for it too. I use these videos to document the costs associated with owning and operating these vehicles, but I omit the insurance and registration information because that varies a lot depending on various factors. I found our insurance costs to be reasonable with Progressive, but I hear online of all kinds of varied numbers from other people that were quoted from different insurance companies for their Teslas. I just don't want to try to take on that subject, but the cost is reasonable in my situation. I share these costs because electric vehicles are new to a lot of people, so there's not a lot of information out there about specific costs of ownership. As of the end of 2025, our Model Y now has 35,392 miles on the odometer, and the grand total of maintenance expenses adds up to $2,033. This is the spreadsheet that I use to keep track of the maintenance costs in our Model Y specifically. And as you can see here in column B, this is the date column. And so we already covered these rows in the prior video that I made last year, and I linked to that at the beginning. And so we're going to be just covering these rows here. So the first an item of business for 2025 was getting a four-wheel alignment. Back up here when I had this tire blowout, when we were on a road trip actually, looked like there was some increased wear on the inside edge of the tire, and that's not uncommon. And so I had that done at Tesla specifically because I took it actually to a couple of different shops, and they either said they wouldn't do it or quoted me pretty high prices, so about the same as Tesla Service Center. So I decided to just go with them, and so that I could make sure it was all done correctly. And then the next thing I did was I got new tires. That was a couple of months later, and then those were $1,476. Now, obviously, your tires are going to be cheaper after this first time. This is the first set of tires that I put on myself. The prior set of tires are what came on the car when it was brand new. And so there is no mileage or tread warranty on the OEM tires. But now, so having had to purchase the full upfront price of these tires going forward, assuming that this set of tires don't get their full mileage that they are warranted for, which if I remember right is 60,000 miles, then clearly we'll get a discount on that on the next set of tires after this. So just keep that in mind. This price is the highest that it will ever be in my experience. Usually it's like half of this for the next set of tires because they only get half of the mileage that their mileage warranty is good for. So then a little while later in August, we did a tire rotation and then filled windshield wiper fluid, which obviously I just do that myself. It's $5 for that jug. And then we had enough referral credits from people like you watching my YouTube channel and buying Teslas. And so, and some of those dollars were going to expire. So I went ahead and had them install a free garage door opener in our car. So that was $375, or would have been if we didn't have those credits. And I wouldn't normally have paid for that because I feel like I can use the button clicker, but these credits were going to expire anyway, and it is nice to have it integrated into the car. So we now have that hardware to be able to open and close our garage door, just like our Model S has from the factory. I wish that they would do that in the Model Y, but they didn't. Specifically looking at the tires that came on our Model Y when we got it, you can see they lasted 27,581 miles, which is not terrible, but it's not great either. It's kind of in the medium range of my experience with Teslas specifically and how quickly they wear out tires. And you can see I replaced them with the Hankook Ion Evo AS SUV tires, and so time will tell. I'll have an update video in the future that shows how long those lasted for. But at the cost that it took to install these and the number of miles that the previous set of tires got, and that's not an apples to apples comparison, I know that because this isn't the cost that those other tires were. I don't know what they were because they came on the car. But looking at these numbers, this was 5.3 cents per mile that the tires cost in the first 27, almost 28,000 miles before I ended up replacing the tires. And that's just the tires alone. But the tires are almost the entire cost. I mean, if you look at this, right, You got the three largest expenses right here, and they're all tires related. The alignment isn't something that you should have to do very often, hopefully, but I don't hear great things about these cars keeping their alignment well. But time will tell on this. I've never had to do the alignment on my Model S, but the suspension is totally different. It's an air suspension versus coil spring suspension here on the Model Y, etc. And that's all the maintenance costs that we've had so far. It's an awesome car to drive, and considering we've spent $2,033 while putting 35,392 miles on the car, that's a cost per mile of 5.7 cents per mile. Now, obviously, those cost numbers I'm referring to are just the maintenance of the vehicle, in this case, mostly tires. The amount that it costs of money to power the vehicle to drive down the road can vary dramatically depending on your sources of energy and what it costs to you. In our case, you can see here on the screen, the left side is the new 2025 charging passport that Tesla just added to their app recently. It shows a map there at the top of all of the superchargers that we've visited, shows how many there were, etc. So that's kind of just a fun card showing information about our charging for the year. In our case, our supercharging is free because we transferred our free unlimited supercharging over from our 2015 Tesla Model S over to this Model Y. So that's why that's free. When you look at the two screenshots on the right, it's the same screenshot pretty much. It's just that one is showing percentages and the other one is showing actual kilowatt hours. Now, in our case, we not only have free supercharging, but when we charge at home, we have solar panels that have more than enough energy to power the cars what we want to drive. So that is free as well for us. And the solar panels have totally broken even on their installation costs as well. So it is fully free electricity. And I've covered all that in past YouTube videos here on this channel. And then when I charge at work, at the office where I work, it's free there too. So we really just have an amazing situation in our particular case where we are able to just drive our electric cars around for free when it comes to the electricity costs specifically. Now let's talk about how we used our Model Y this year, since there isn't much to talk about when it comes to maintenance costs. For the first trip, we went to St. George, Utah in March, which is one of our favorite places to go play, and that's only around 4 hours from where we live. Then I took the kids to a cattle ranch in early June to learn about cattle branding and castration. I'll be making a video about that when it comes up in my editing queue, which I'm currently behind in. Then I took my son camping overnight in the mountains, which is always a fun way to use electric vehicles, which have a camping mode to keep the heating or cooling on in the car all night long using minimal amounts of battery. Then in late June through most of July, we went on a 25-day, 5,727 mile road trip in our Model Y with our family of 6, plus my dad joined us. So we had a full car and used a trailer hitch cargo carrier that worked very well. This will be an epic video series as we explore 11 national or provincial parks, driving up through the Canadian Rockies, then back down through the Northwest United States, hitting 9 states and provinces on the whole trip. The last trip we took our Model Y on in 2025 was going to the Grand Canyon South Rim. I can't wait to share all of these awesome adventures with you all, but once again, I need to get caught up with the video editing. I'm editing them in chronological order, and I'm making good progress now. This screen is generated from TeslaFi, which is a third-party service that connects to the Tesla API, and I pay extra for that, and it aggregates all of the data for me about the car the whole time we're using it all year, whether we're on road trips or not. So I really like this app. As you can see, I have the drives and lifetime map pulled up, and this is filtered for just the year of 2025 specifically. So you can see that we put just over 13,000 miles on the car in 2025. And you can see some other stats here, just summarizing the year. Down here on the map, you can see that obviously we live down here in the Salt Lake City, Utah area, and this is the trip that we went on to the Canadian Rockies, and then back down over here into Vancouver, British Columbia, and then we explored the northwestern United States here, Washington, Oregon, and Northern California, before heading back over here. And then there were some other road trips that we did in 2025, like coming over here to the Carter Ranch that I told you about. I'll be making a video about of the cattle branding over there. Then down here is the Grand Canyon that we visited, and then also St. George. So those are the trips this is all the driving that we've done in 2025. And if I hit clear here, now it will show us the map of all the lifetime that we have of the Model Y up to this point. And so I'm going to make this full screen so you can see it better, and then I'll zoom in. And you can see here On the 2024 trips that we did, this is the really big trip that we did down to the Florida Keys, all the way down to the southern tip of Key West, and then back up and then through this way. And that was an epic trip, which I'll be making videos about as well. And then the rest of this is from 2025 that I just showed you. This is the battery degradation report in TeslaFi, and you can see I don't have it filtered for any time range. So this is just showing the whole time that I've had TeslaFi on my Model Y, which is from day one. And as you can see here on the graph, the green line, as you can see right here, it says that's the fleet average range, and then the blue line is my battery's range. Here in the beginning, my Model Y had better range than the average, and then it started just kind of breaking even along this way, or like right on the average of the fleet. And then somewhat more recently, right around here, which was when my Model Y had about 25,000 miles on the odometer, it started to deviate lower than the average, and it's starting to accelerate that deviation down here. I don't really know why that is, but we do exclusively supercharge, so that's probably a good reason why, and I'm okay with that considering I'm getting free supercharging. Now, if we moved on down here, this is showing a couple of different ranges, and I think it's probably best just to look here at the starting range versus current range, and it's showing that we're basically right around 12% of battery degradation, or if we just look at what they stated on their website of 3 to 30, then we're at 12.61. Shortly after we bought our Model Y, they revised this figure, and if I remember right, they changed it to 310 miles. And so if we were to look at that number, these are rated miles, keep in mind, so it's not the most accurate number, but it's showing 7% for that. I don't really know what to make of it, but based on their figures, it looks like we are sitting at 12%, and it still works fine for us to get everywhere that we need to go, and it has 35,000 miles on the odometer, so I'm not expecting it to not have some battery degradation, of course. So if we come up here and look at our Model S just for point of comparison, keep in mind our Model S now has 149,000 miles on the odometer, and it is sitting at, well, I guess about the same amount of battery degradation, but that's a lot more miles. So I don't know what to make of that, but as you can see, these amounts of battery degradation that the computer is estimating varies quite a bit over time, and I'm not too concerned about it. Also, TeslaFi has a road trip feature where you can specify date ranges, and it will aggregate all that information in that time frame to a road trip for you. So this is our Florida Keys trip that we did. This is when we went to St. George. This is going to the Carter Ranch, and then this is the Canadian Rockies trip that we did there. And you can see the number of miles that we did on each of those trips and some basic information like that. And I'll go over more detailed information about this on each of those trip videos. I like this feature in TeslaFi where it shows your odometer over obviously a timeline, and then it has marked on it the road trips that I have indicated in the system. And so you can see where those road trips occurred, and it's kind of interesting. You can see during the road trip that the odometer goes up dramatically faster because obviously we're driving it long distances every day. And then we got back from the Canadian Rockies trip, and our usage of the Model Y nearly stopped for a while, and we've used it a little bit more right there, but we haven't used it nearly as much in the latter portion of this year because we've been primarily driving our Model S instead. We have our biggest adventures yet planned for 2026, so if you're interested in learning what electric vehicles are capable of, then make sure to subscribe to get automatically notified when I publish new videos. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to post those in the comments below. If you're purchasing a new Tesla, I'd love for you to use my referral code, which is in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.